You drive up to a customer's house or a potential customer's house and realize, what am I doing here? This isn't for me. Sometimes we even know it before you even drive into or walk into the door. I'm Ron Ramsden. I'm a DYB coach, also painting contractor up here in northern Massachusetts. I don't know how many times in the past that has happened to me. Once I start walking and talking to these people, walking around the house, realizing I don't want to be here. I'm wasting my time. I have too many other things I should be doing. Why am I wasting this time? Now I have to write them an estimate, so I'm going to waste even more time for a job I don't want. Well, I want to walk through our pre-qualifying steps that we use on a customer. We have it online as well. We do a further in-depth one over the phone. We allow them to book their appointments online to schedule an estimate. Some customers do this. Some customers rather have us return the phone call. But even on online booking, we ask questions. We want to get some information out of them before we commit to going on an estimate. And some of the questions we ask, of course, we have their email address, their phone number, because we have to call them back, address, what they'd like painted, what their time frame is, where the source came from. Source being, was it a referral? Did they just Google us? Did they see a truck parked on the side of the road? Was it a yard sign? Was it a friend? There could be a contractor who's referred us. We want to know where that came from. That has a lot of weight if we're going to go look at that job. So we have that information online. Or if they called, then we ask them the same questions over and over, plus a bunch more. But this is typically what happens. If someone books online and I read the information, it could be a sister of a past client, we're going to go see that person as long as they're in the address in our service area. But one of the first things we ask for is when we're talking on the phone. So we want to make sure we're a good fit for them. So we like working for certain customers, and we call them A and B customers. Just like school A, B, C, D, E, F, we kind of characterize everybody in an A, B, C, or D. D's, of course, we don't want to work for. A's and B's, that's who we're going for all the time. So what we first ask is, of course, their name and address. And I'm going for someone we don't really know. We've never worked for them before, so we get that pertinent information. But then at the address, we're going to Google that. We're going to Zillow. We'll look up Zillow on the address to see if this kind of house we work for. And you should all have gone through your 3 Ps, which is your people, your process, and your profit, so you know what kind of jobs you want to do. The ones that really make sense for your company to be doing over and over and over again. So if it's a lead house, we don't want to work in it. We do not work on lead houses anymore. We don't have our RRP license. We let that go. We found that wasn't one of our 3 Ps. So we refer that work off to a lead contractor in the area. So we Zillow it. Okay, it fits into the area that we work on. We like $500,000 to $1 million homes in this area, and it's only about 10 miles away, which is great because we don't like to drive. We don't go into the city. My guys don't like working in the city, and we could be stuck in traffic for an hour and a half, 2 hours each way, even though it's only 30 miles away. So it's in our service area. So we know the cost of the house by a Zillow estimate. We know the address because they've given us that, and then we ask them, is this in your own house or is this a rental? Maybe it could be a 2-family, 3-family, or 4-plex. We tend not to work in multifamily homes. Being a landlord for 16 years, I realize what landlords are looking for, and that's not something we provide, which is usually cheap painting. They don't want to pay a premium, and we're a premium company, and you should be too. So we'll find out if it's an own, and so far everything is looking good. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to ask them, where did you hear about us? Every now and then they'll say, I don't know, I can't remember. 9 out of 10 times they can remember. It could be Google reviews. That was a recent one. I've been watching your reviews, and we decided to give you a call when we needed a painter. I watched with you on Facebook. Well, that doesn't mean they're a great or a perfect customer of yours, so you have to dig a little deeper. Maybe it was my contractor I work with. Maybe he referred us out. Maybe it's a past client referral. Maybe it's a neighbor of a client and they've already talked to them, a past client. Those are the good ones. Those are the ones that have a little more weight. So then we're going to walk down. Okay, well, we're going to actually explain to them the level of craftsmanship that we provide. That we're not the cheapest painter. If that's a price is a sticking point for them, we want to let them know we're really into the craftsmanship. We use quality products. We provide the products, and we go on and on. And if any red flags pop up, we kind of end the conversation there in a very nice way, and I'm going to talk to you about that. So we also, when would you like it done? You know, if they're going to say we want it done next week, well, I'm sorry, we're already booked. And if any of these red flags come up that don't seem like a great fit for your company, there's a way to get out of this. So, and this is a great one, when they want it done. You know, a lot of times we already have a schedule. Our schedule, their schedule doesn't mesh. So that's a way out if there's any red flags coming up. So another thing is if it's a small job, we don't estimate small jobs. Just recently someone had some hardwood floors sanded and the baseboard had to be retouched up. Well, customer needed someone to come out and give them a price. And I very nicely said, well, anything less than a day is a painter for a day. You can figure out everybody has different expense levels and different charges all over the country, demand different prices depending on your overhead. And we talked about overhead and something like that on some of the previous videos. So you'll know your painter for a day charge, be it X number of dollars. You can say, Mrs. Smith, you know, typically on small jobs like that, we don't come out and price them out. We have a painter for a day. It's anything up to 7.5 or 8 hours, however you price it. So that sounds like me. It's only going to take about 4 hours to take care of that baseboard. So if you have a couple other little things around the house, we could probably take care of that too. That is X number of dollars. Would you like to book that? They say, yes, it's great. Let me get your credit card information right now, and we'll put a deposit down for the day. And then when the paint is all done, we're just going to process the charge. Does that sound good to you? If they say no, that sends up a flag. They called you because they trusted you to be a painter to come out to their house. If they're going to waste your time, then they're not worth it. Remember, your time is worth a lot of money. You don't have a lot of time, so you got to make sure you use it wisely. Sorry about that. So anyways, you ask all these questions. How do you get out? If you have on any red flags and it just doesn't feel right, how do you get out of this with the customer thanking you? So what you want to do, it's a win-win. You want to be able to have another painter refer this work to. And you're saying, wait a minute, I've got to give my competition some work. No. You know who your direct competition is, and you should be friends with these people. I know I am through the PDCA, seeing them at paint stores and other gatherings around. I know my competition. More than happy to have a coffee with them. Let's share some ideas. But you know it's that painter who's probably a good painter. He's a terrible person marketing. He's always looking for work, but you know he's a good painter. So you cut a deal. Say, hey, Joe, you know, sometimes I get jobs that I can't handle. Would it be okay if I referred him to you? He's going to be thrilled. He said, but you got to do me one thing. You have to promise me if I refer you someone, you call that customer back. And I will keep referring them to you as long as you keep calling these customers back. And if they have more work down the road, it's all yours. That's what we do. We find a couple painters in the area that we can trust, that when we call them and say, hey, Joe, Mrs. Smith is going to be calling you because I just referred her. It's a job we can't handle. Please call her back when she calls you. So that's a win-win, and we ask the customer, say, you know, at this point we can't fit you in our schedule, or that's really outside of our service zone, but I do have a painter I can refer to you. Would that be okay? Customer will be thrilled. They don't have to do any work. You're handing them another painter who promised to call them back. So that's one way. It's a win-win. And then this way, your customer's happy. That painter's happy. It's not a customer you're going to work for anyways, and you don't want to waste your time going over to write up an estimate for work you don't want to do. And then you're going to smile. You're not going to get a negative review. You might even get a positive review out of the deal. So you got to look at it this way. Your time is worth a lot of money. So what you want to do is you want to use it wisely. You want to pre-qualify the customer before you go over and see them. If it's a repeat customer, you can kind of put that aside. So qualify the customer. If the customer isn't a good fit for you, refer them to another painter. Ask them these questions. if they feel uncomfortable or you feel uncomfortable asking these questions and you don't, the same thing's going to happen. You got to get to that job, you got to look around and go, why am I here? And you have to provide them an estimate. If you don't provide them an estimate, you got to look like the bad guy. Be the good guy. Make it a win-win situation, even if you don't want to work for that customer. So I'm Ron Ramsden. If you have any questions, you can reach me at ron@dybcoach.com. You can also find me on Facebook. You can email me. You can. I'm all over the place. Anyways, thank you for watching so much. Enjoy the day. I help painters work on their business so they don't have to work in the business. Have a great one.